Good morning, and welcome to the Not On My Watch show with me, your host, Dr. Baruch, as we are broadcasting live from the E-Life Media Studios here in Capitol Heights, Maryland. And we have a great show in store for us today. We're going to be doing some really good, positive things, as it is our goal and desire to do this on a continuum. We're talking to our first guest is going to be a neighbor of ours here in Seat Pleasant, Maryland, and not just a neighbor, but the mayor of Seat Pleasant, Maryland. And before we get into that, just want to remind everybody this is the E-Life Media Group, and you want to share and repost and reshare and connect up and like and follow and check us out on elifemedia.net if you want to see real-time and hear real-time TV and radio. But also our YouTube page features all of our previous shows that we've had that we've been able to archive and post out there. Want to thank on the front end, because sometimes I forget it on the back end. Want to thank my engineer, Brother Kyle Reed, and also my producer, Ronia Napper. Again, it's an exciting day. It's a beautiful day outside. Please make sure you get outside and enjoy yourself and enjoy this beautiful weather. For those of you who like to call in and be a part of our studio audience, and ask a question or make a comment, please do so at 240-455-5934. Again, 240-455-5934. We're going to jump right in now with my brother, my colleague, my soldier, my left wing, and I'm not talking about a chicken wing, my main man, my main motor scooter. I don't know what else I need to say. You know what's up. Mayor Eugene Grant. Great. Mayor Grant, for those of us in the viewing and listening audience who may not know who you are, may not have heard your name and all the reputation that precedes you, as I know, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? Where you from?
Well, currently I serve as the 12th mayor of the African American City of Excellence. Also in California, state of Maryland. Sometime after that, been around the United States, settled in Washington, D.C., and then to Seat Pleasant, Maryland, where I'm now serving as its mayor. This happens to be in the Washington metropolitan area, giving back to the community that has given to me.
That's what's up. And we are excited to have you in our studios today, and we look forward to continuing this kind of relationship as we build on the concept and idea that, we have to have partnerships. We have to have private and government partnerships in order to, or private and public partnerships in order to make these efforts more successful. We can't put everything on you, and nor can you expect us to cover all of the needs of an entire community. And you talk about Seat Pleasant as the city of excellence. Now, Seat Pleasant has not always been known as a place of excellence. How long have you been in the position of mayor? And tell us about some of the things that you've put in place, and maybe some of the things that you're putting in place going forward in order to establish that level of excellence.
Well, I was fortunate to be elected by the residents of Seat Pleasant to serve as their servant leader in 2004. So this is coming up to the end of my third term and preparing for our re-election in September. Mm-hmm. And we have been very blessed in our community to have changed the image of our city to an image that is more positive for us. As you've already stated, previously, Seat Pleasant was not necessarily known in fond terms. Oftentimes there were persons who would say something negative about our community. But since we have worked together since 2004 to change that paradigm and shift it in a way that it's shifting on the side of something that is positive, we are very excited about the direction and the hope of the future for Seat Pleasant, Maryland. We have changed or added, if you will, the mantra, a city of excellence. And there's a scripture in the Bible, in the New Testament, that talks about, now hath he obtained a more excellent ministry. Now therefore have he, this has been done in excellence. And so by doing this in excellence and having a better covenant, a covenant which is an agreement with the residents of Seat Pleasant, we have determined that as we move forward, our desire is to do things in an excellent way, in an excellent fashion, and to deliver those services in an excellent way. And we do so because the people whom we serve are an excellent people. Even though sometimes the people may not acknowledge or recognize their greatness or their excellence, I am still responsible of seeing the good in all of our people and find ways of highlighting that great potential that they have to help them to live out their aspirations.
Mayor Grant, what puts you in the position, what puts you in the mindset to, be a politician? Where did you start? I remember there were some events that you used to host, back in the day, and that's how I was first introduced to you. Tell us a little bit more about that trek, that journey to get you to the point of recognizing that you needed to fill this position, and also recognizing that some of us realize that when you get into politics, your hands get tied. So talk to me about that. Where did you start?
Yeah, that's quite interesting. And so in 1989, I formed a youth organization that dealt with the empowerment of our young people to be leaders in the community. And as a result of that work, a lot of people in the community acknowledged and identified the successes that we were enjoying with our young people and felt that it was time for a change for Seat Pleasant and a need for change in Seat Pleasant. And so many of those persons had asked that I begin considering the position of mayor of Seat Pleasant. And so the rest is history, and that they elected me in that position. But I've always been, from my birth to current time, have always taught to be a servant, to be someone who is giving back, someone who is making a contribution to the community, and not necessarily someone who is taking away from the community. And so from a spiritual background and a religious background, and which is first and foremost in my life, and then moving that into action, translating what you've been taught on a Sunday or Tuesday night or Friday night or wherever your services are, to go into the community, go into the vineyard, and labor for the betterment of our community.
Yep, that's what's up. That's what's up. Again, we're talking to Mayor Eugene Grant of Seat Pleasant, Maryland. And again, no stranger here in Everlasting Life, and understanding our commitment and our role in this community to provide a viable food source. Mayor Grant, we were featured on the front page of the Washington Post. And let me say something about that. You don't get on the front page of the Washington Post, for a whole lot of good things, especially if you look like you and I. You get on the front page of the Washington Post if you've done something really, really bad,
Yes, sir.
And to think that we were able to get on the front page of the Washington Post serving not only food, but serving intellectual content, serving information, serving empowerment, upliftment. We were able to get on the front page of the Washington Post serving these healthy meals to the residents of Seat Pleasant. And it was exciting. And it's something that we don't want to stop doing. We want to continue doing. We want to continue forging that relationship with the Prince George's County community overall, but definitely in Seat Pleasant, as we're watching transition take place. We're seeing what has happened in Washington, D.C. We're watching this transition. And, so as you're looking at the things that are taking place in D.C., or you're watching, many of our residents in D.C. have been pushed out to Seat Pleasant. They've been pushed out to Capitol Heights. They've been pushed out to, it used to be a time when Coral Hills was like, back in the day, Mayor Grant, Coral Hills was like Mitchellville, like Bowie. You were like, oh, you live in Coral Hills? Oh, you live up there in the Gold Coast. You got Big Gapper. Now we look up and these same communities are, not the same. They don't represent the same social and economic strata. So as we look up as a business, as a media conglomerate, eLife Media we're talking about, and of course you and I know we've done work with the restaurant, that what is it that you see us being able to do in order to strengthen and bolster that community and maybe ebb the flow of gentrification, that wave that seemingly is on its way out, coming out from southeast and northeast on its way to Prince George's County? How do we address that?
Let me shift it just a bit
Sure.
as you ask that question, and I will respond to it. But let me first say that the presence of Everlasting Life and eLife Media Group is critically important to the advancement of our community. There is a saying that you are what you eat. We've heard that coming up oftentimes. And so as a result of the challenges that plague our community, not eating a healthy diet, one that can sustain life and give you a healthy life, we often do those things that are against our existence. So eating the wrong foods. But you took it even a step further by creating eLife Media Group. And so that's food also for the soul. So we have food for the body and food for the soul, which is critically important to any nation that is trying to build, and any nation that is trying to sustain itself, and any nation that is trying to project itself into the future. And so as you are a strong business in our community and have done work in Seat Pleasant, Maryland, for which we are very grateful, in introducing the proper diets to our community, as well as introducing the proper food of the mind in our community. That is what is important to help us to prevent the type of gentrification that we see occurring in big cities across the United States. We've seen in the District of Columbia where gentrification has worked successfully in moving a group of people from U Street, from the Foggy Bottom area, from H Street, from Anacostia to Southwest, where African Americans were the owners. They didn't just live there. They weren't just renters, but they actually owned the properties that were there. And so now we have seen the successful plans that have been in place for 30 years, 40 years. These plans did not come and materialize themselves overnight. And that is the thing that we have to understand when we're talking about community planning. The plans come as a result of various meetings to talk about what you want to see in the future for your community, and that's what has happened in the District of Columbia. So what are we doing in Prince George's County in what they call the established communities? What are we doing in Fairmont Heights? What are we doing in Capitol Heights? What are we doing in Seat Pleasant? What are we doing in Suitland? What are we doing in Coral Hills? What are we doing in those communities to ensure that African Americans do not lose the power that we have been able to enjoy for the past maybe 20 years, to make certain that we don't lose that in the next 20 years as we go along? If you look at the District of Columbia, at the diamond shape that it is, at the top of that diamond is Silver Spring, the left of that diamond is Fairfax, the bottom of that diamond is Arlington and Alexandria. You look at the property values in those areas, $800,000, $1 million, and even more, just to get the same footprint that you have in a Seat Pleasant. Mm-hmm. But you can get in Seat Pleasant and get a home for under $200,000, and you will be a part of transit-oriented development, meaning you'll be able to walk to the metro, you will be able to walk to Capitol Heights, you'll be able to walk to New Carrollton, you'll be able to walk to Suitland, in those communities where you're able to walk to. Well, those prices of those houses are going to start going up. They have already begun going up. because people have realized that it is more affordable to live in those areas in Prince George's County, specifically Seat Pleasant as an example, and they see value. We have to see value in what we do. So what Everlasting Life can do, what eLife Media Group can do, is to continue to do what it has been doing in the community, feeding the bodies of our people with nutritious meals and feeding the souls of our people with strong and positive information that is transformative.
That's what's up. That's what's up. And I appreciate the effort, and I appreciate the energy, the passion with which you bring to the office and that responsibility that you have there in Seat Pleasant. I want to add, and I want to let you know that, you know, I've been in the food business not by mistake, not by design, you know, but by, you know, that same passion that you have to alter and to change what's going on in that community. I was thrust into the food industry because I realized that if we don't control the food, we won't control the health of the constituency in this area. If you don't control the food, you don't control then the intellectual capacity. If you don't control the food, you don't control the relationship balance. If you don't control the food, you don't control the academic performance. You don't control the athletic capacity. And you know this because those who are eating that which is not good for you and they're out of control, and that which is not good for you is out of control, you know that you're getting really bad results as a result of that consumption. So I want to say this publicly, that, you know, our goal, as we've been in business now for 21 years, is to expand. We would love to come down and be a part of this community here in Seat Pleasant. We would love to be a part of educating and empowering, providing really healthy content, and content goes beyond the content of just food. But this program today is content, and we're consuming it, and we're digesting it, and it's going to become a part of our future. Every one of us who's in this listening audience is going to become a part of our future. And I encourage you to, you know, those of us in the audience, recognize the importance of supporting the businesses that support you. And we changed that paradigm a bit because we used to say, support the businesses that look like you. No, we need to support the businesses that support you, because at the end of the day, it's those that support you that will increase your capacity, that will give you longevity, that will make you feel better about what's going on, and will give back into your community. So I pledge my support for this growth and expansion and this shine that you're putting on Seat Pleasant, the city of excellence. I desire to be a participant in that process, and I look forward to, you know, bringing you on as we forge together this, because I know you can't do it by yourself, and Lord knows I can't do this by myself. I've got a staff of 45 people, and I couldn't make all that food, Mayor Grant. You know, and I can't serve all that food. I can't clean it up, the place at the end of the day. You know, I can barely keep up with the responsibilities that I've got as a CEO of a project like this, trying to keep up with the vision that the Creator gave me to provide a community disserved and underserved with a viable food source. And I'm sure you remember back in the day when I came to this parking lot, it would be empty.
Yes, sir.
All day.
Yes,
and
sir.
We're very thankful for the transition and for the acceptance, you know, especially from those outside the Beltway, that they now can come inside the Beltway and feel safe and do business and commerce with us. And likewise, you're changing that paradigm in Seat Pleasant. We're seeing that, you know, at one time the crime was high. At one time you were afraid. At one time you had to walk a certain way in Seat Pleasant. Now you can go to Seat Pleasant with your family and go to the park, and you can play with your children, and you don't have to look over your shoulder. And you know, you might, you know, get your little food and bring your food out there and have a good time. And I know you've contributed to that, and I just want to, you know, give you an opportunity to talk about the direction. I want you to talk about, you know, your vision for Seat Pleasant. I want you to talk about some of the programs that you are going to put in place so that this community would know, you know, what they can anticipate as they become the stakeholders in the future of Seat Pleasant.
So, and we again appreciate you and what you are doing here and the changes that you have been a part in making our county and our state a better community. And as we're moving forward with the work that we're doing, it was something that you said earlier that caused me to really think about the behavior of our community and how the behavior of our community must change. And I say that to say this. For a long time, we talked about the behavior of our community as it relates to criminal activity. And they say crime doesn't pay, and that's a misnomer. Crime does pay for somebody. It may not pay for the person who's committing the crime, but for somebody else, it is paying. And so, for example, you have Corrections Corporation of America, which is a publicly traded company that gets paid off of our behavior, our negative behavior, people doing things that they should not be doing. And so we have to address that as a community, and eLife Media Group is going to help in that regard in Seat Pleasant, Maryland, as you are depositing strong information and empowering information into the hearts and into the minds of those young persons who will listen to your message. But secondly to that, we must not stop there. We also have to start talking about our eating. The eating wrong and putting things and ingesting things into our body that is not good. We don't talk about that enough. And so when we do the things that we should not be doing to our bodies, such as the consumption of salts and consumption of sugars and all of those things that are very harmful to us, there is a company, there is a corporation that is making money off of our bad eating habits. That is called DaVita. Look around in our community. You see all these renal clinics that are in our community because of our poor health. We have one in Seat Pleasant. They have 22 beds every single morning. You look out at the parking lot, it is full. Every 22 beds are full because we don't make the right choices. And DaVita Corporation out in Washington State is making over $8 billion per year off of our bad choices. So we have to make changes. We have to make shifts in the things that we do, and as leaders must step up and recognize these challenges in our community and do something about it. So the city of Seat Pleasant is moving in that regard. We are rebranding ourselves. As you look in the Port Towns area, which is Colmar Manor, Bladensburg, Brentwood, and Edmonston, they have rebranded themselves as the eco district of the county. When you look at Mount Rainier and Hyattsville, they've rebranded themselves as the Gateway Arts District. When you look at College Park, they're rebranding themselves as an innovation district. Well, Seat Pleasant is moving in the direction of becoming a smart city. That is what we will be known in the future as a smart city. And so on May the 9th, 2016, the City Council voted and approved my plan to establish Seat Pleasant as a smart city with an innovation village that will be a part of it. And we look forward to Everlasting Life. We look forward to eLife Media Group being a part of that innovation village, being a part of that resurgence and renaissance as we rebrand our city and take advantage of those opportunities and those resources that exist that historically Black people have not tapped into, but now we will tap into because it is for the betterment of our community.
That's what's up. That's what's up. You're listening to none other than Mayor Eugene Grant here of Seat Pleasant, Maryland, talking about Seat Pleasant's image and the upgrade and the vision of a city of excellence. I'm excited and thankful that you would have the opportunity and time to come on, Mayor Grant, to share with us the information, the insight, the vision, and the future work that you see is necessary, and we must see as a community is necessary in order for us to have a future and not be once again a group that is moved out. So I'm very thankful for the great work that you're doing. We're going to take a momentary break as we continue to move forward with the Not On My Watch show here on eLife Media. We're going to take a momentary break and come back with more great programming. You all stay tuned. We'll be right back in just a second.